The most embarrassing NBA records of current players. Let's see some embarrassing records, chat.
Embarrassing NBA records held by current day players. And make sure to subscribe and stay tuned because soon we're doing the same but for all-time players. As for now, this record is not very known, but former 8th overall pick Marquise Chris has the worst winning percentage out of all current NBA players.
Damn, worst winning percentage? Damn!
For his career, which means he's only ever won 29% of the games he's played in. And sure, it's not his fault. He's a bench player that only plays about 10 to 20 minutes a night. He's not a real difference maker in the game. But coming into the league, he was thought to be a young player that had a lot of potential. So ever since then, he's just been bounced around a lot of bad teams who are waiting for him to get really good. But he never has. And his luck hasn't been good either. Because in his first NBA season, he was on the pre-Chris Paul Suns, who had a 24-58 record.
Damn, 24-58?
21-61. Then got traded to the 53-29 Rockets, but only played 16 games, which didn't give him a ton of time to get many wins. He was then moved to the 19-63 Cavs.
Damn!
The next 2 years in Golden State, which would have been great, but it was during their injury years where they won a combined 54-83, and then he played this season on the 52-30 Dallas Mavericks. So he did actually end up getting some good wins this year. But like I said, he's not really the one in control of this record, so it's not as embarrassing. But that's very different from James Harden, whose record is extremely embarrassing and all his fault. And it all happened when the Rockets were playing the Thunder. Houston even had a 15-point lead with the third quarter almost over. But even though James wasn't hitting any threes, he just kept shooting. So OKC came back, James kept missing, and he finished the night on 1 of 17.
Damn, 1 of 17? That nigga was getting some practice shots in.
There's only ever been 7 games where a player has missed 16 threes, and Harden has had 6 of them.
Damn!
Like that happened to Harden.
Bro, 6 games where you missed 17 threes, Harden? Are you dead ass? That nigga was a gunner for real.
Because it's actually happened a lot. Like back in 2018 when he was a part of the Houston team that broke a playoff record for 27 straight missed 3-pointers in a row in a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors.
Damn, that was Game 7?
When the Rockets were up by 15 at home. Looking like they were gonna dethrone the Kevin Durant Warriors. But then they missed 3 straight threes in the second quarter, and James missed the next 6 in a row, taking them up to 9. The third quarter started and Houston missed 14 more straight threes.
Damn, 14?
Letting the Warriors
bro, that's wild, bro.
To close out the third. Then the fourth started, and they still kept shooting and missed 4 more before PJ Tucker finally hit one. But by that point, it was way too late, and Golden State's lead was already too big, so they won the game. And during that 0-27 stretch, Harden missed 10 threes, Eric Gordon missed 7, Trevor Ariza missed 6, PJ Tucker missed 2, and Joe Johnson and Gerald Green.
See, everybody want to blame Harden for this game, but it was a whole team that couldn't shoot, bro. It wasn't just Harden. Nobody was making shit, bro.
Both missed 1. Now, Brook Lopez.
All because of this, they say Harden not clutch.
As he set his own record just several months later. Back in 2018, his 3-point shooting had become a crucial part of the Bucks' offense, and it earned him.
Damn! Get banged on, nigga.
But this night, he was more like Crash Mountain because it was a normal regular season game, except that Brook went 0 of 12 from the 3-point line, which is the most attempted threes without a make ever in the history of the NBA. Steph Curry previously held the record, and I get everyone wants to break a Steph Curry 3-point record, but this was the wrong one to go for. And now I bet he's pretty mad that he owns it, but maybe not as mad as a guy like DeMarcus Cousins was for basically his entire career.
Damn, why you flipping off everyone?
Ejections by a current day player with 15, and not all of them are for things as little as pointing at a referee. I mean, every single NBA player has a weakness, because even when Cousins was a superstar, he had a really complete game, but he was so hot-headed it would often get in the way, and his anger was what caused him to have to leave the game so many times. But even now that his career as a star is over, the one constant that's remained is his ability to yell at the refs,
and Cousins has been ejected,
which is why he's still getting ejected from games a good amount, even though he plays so much less now. Now I know I probably would have gotten ejected at some point if I was playing on the Oklahoma City Thunder this past year. They suffered the worst loss in the history of the game of basketball, at least statistically. These days we all know OKC doesn't have a great team, but it still surprised the whole league when they got blown out by an all-time record 73 points last year, especially since they were playing the Grizzlies without Ja Morant. It was already bad enough.
Bro, they got blown out by 73 points, and then they come back from 20 against the bum-ass Lakers.
We're down by 36 points at halftime, but Memphis didn't let up and went up by 37 more points in the second half.
Damn!
I like that hurts, but imagine doing it every single night that you play an NBA game. Well, at least for 11.8% of them, because that was the Charlotte Bobcats' all-time low winning percentage back in 2012. And the year was a disaster. They had a couple current-day players like Kemba Walker and Bismack Biyombo, which is how they still make the video. But both of those guys were rookies, and the team's leading scorer that year was Gerald Henderson. And to make things even worse, the player they drafted with the pick that they got for being so bad that year was Michael Kidd.
His bald ass head almost hit the rim, bro.
The pick that they got for being so
his bald ass head inches from the rim.
That year was Michael Kidd Gilchrist. And it's really surprising that they don't hold.
Oh my God, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, bro. He was supposed to be so good, but that nigga couldn't shoot for shit.
The record for all-time longest losing streak in a single season, because that instead goes to the 2011 Cavs and the 2014 76ers, who both lost 26 straight games at one point. But both of these two do make perfect sense. The 2011 Cavs were playing in their first season after LeBron James left them high and dry. They no longer had a star and basically had nobody left on the team, which just goes to show how important LeBron really is. Seeing how the same team with him went 61-21, then 19-63 the next year with the exact same team, just minus LeBron.
Bro, this is one of the main reasons why LeBron is the GOAT. You take LeBron off the team, they're ass. If you take Michael Jordan off the Bulls, they're still a playoff team. That's really all the evidence you need.
Then 19-63 the next year with the exact same team, just minus LeBron James. And as for the 2014 76ers, well, they were right in the middle of the process, so it's perfectly understandable how this team, without even a sniff of an all-star, would lose 26 games in a row. But no matter how important LeBron James is, don't let that distract you from the fact that he holds one of the worst all-time records in NBA history.
Oh my God, what is he finna talk about? The turnovers? They finna talk about the turnovers?
Which he broke 2 seasons ago. That's the record for most turnovers of all time.
I knew it.
This is the turnover that did it. It is pretty surprising though to realize that he averaged just about 3.5 a game for his career, but I guess it does make sense with just how much he has the ball in his hand. This record does have a lot to do with his longevity though. I mean, you look at all the top guys on this list and they've all had 20 or near 20 years.
Bro, this nigga Westbrook is number 5. And he is nowhere near year 20, bro. He's nowhere near year 20. He's already number 5. What the fuck? How many years has Westbrook been in the NBA, bro? Since 2008. 2008 to 2022 is what, 14 years? I think. Yeah, 14 years. Bro, he still has 6 years to go to get to year 20. And he's already number 5. That is crazy, bro. That is actually wild. Like John Stockton, he played for 20 years, right? And then look at the two people. Look at the two people ahead of him.
His longevity, though. When you look at all the
Karl Malone, he played long as hell. Moses Malone played long as hell. John Stockton played long as hell. All these niggas have played 20 years. And look at Westbrook, number 5, played 13, 14 years. God damn. Talk about a turnover machine.
They've all had 20 or...
Look at Kobe. Wasn't that 20 years? Jason Kidd, what is that, 20 years?
But,
I don't know how long Julius Erving played.
Russell Westbrook
had to be at least like 17, 18.
Top 5, even though he's played far less games than everyone else. He's climbing the board for that record, but one of the most embarrassing that he actually was a part of was back in the 2017 game for the OKC Thunder, where his team missed the most shots in a row that we've ever seen, with 24, leading the team to shooting 35% from the night, with Russ himself going scoreless in the second half. And if you ask him, it wasn't because of the Wizards' defense, it was just because they were just missing shots. But while we're speaking of LeBron's teammates not being very good, that brings us to Anthony Davis.
Oh my God, what record does Anthony Davis hold?
Who, sure, he only played 40 games last year, but within those 40 games set an all-time record for worst three-point percentage in a season by a star player at 18.6%. He was off on every kind of shot last year that wasn't within 3 feet, and it's not a good look when right after he comes out and says that he goes extended periods of time without touching a basketball right after this season, because his missed shots are now directly linked to a poor work ethic. Many people attribute Ben Simmons' poor shooting ability to the same thing. The fact that he's played 4 seasons and hasn't learned to shoot at all just shows that he doesn't work hard, and it contributed to him having the lowest free throw percentage in a single playoffs with 34%.
Damn, 34%?
Chamberlain, lower than Bill Wallace, and lower than Shaq.
What y'all think Ben Simmons' free throw percentage finna be this year on the Nets? I'm calling 58%.
Ever had. And Ben's playing point guard, and that playoff performance was the last time he ever played, and the whole experience apparently caused him to have mental health issues, which according to him is why he hasn't stepped back on an NBA court since that terrible record-setting month or two. And the postseason is where a lot can go down. Players can make or break themselves there. Well, while Jason Tatum's 2022 run was mostly positive, he had a lot of great games, not including
banged on
He
Giannis.
also became the first player in NBA history with 100 turnovers in a single postseason. A lot of times he didn't look comfortable and Jaylen Brown had to take over. And that uncomfortability is what caused him to average 4.2 turnovers
216. Tatum dunked on your mans?
And that uncomfortability is what caused him to average.
He banged on your mans? Well, I ain't never seen that.
All the way through their final.
Damn, Al.
But I think it's okay because the Phoenix Suns had by far the most embarrassing 2022 playoff performance, where they talked trash to Luka all throughout their series. And most people thought they had it locked up with Game 7 being at home. Well, that was until they scored 27 points in the first half, which was just as many points as Luka had. And the 27-57 score at halftime was the largest halftime deficit in a Game 7 that the game has ever seen. And it doesn't make sense. How could two teams be so evenly matched that it needs to go to a Game 7 and then they get blown out by 30 in just 2 quarters? Well, just ask the Phoenix Suns. And the Booker and Luka,
because they're not as good as y'all think.
But Udonis has
some frauds.
Because he's currently the oldest player in the NBA on any roster. Well, I don't know if this one is technically an official record, but it's got to be something. Because while Udonis is going into his 20th season in the league, he's missed enough games to make up 8 entire seasons.
This nigga Udonis Haslam has been in the league for 20 years and he's missed enough games to miss 8 seasons? Bro, what is this nigga doing to keep on getting these NBA contracts? What is he doing? The fuck is this nigga doing?
So he's technically only played 12 seasons worth of games. And some of it is due to a couple of injuries early on, but most of it is these past 7 years where he's been kept on the roster, and it's gotten to the point where it just seems like he's a player coach. Because he's only played 95 total games the past 7 years, which is only 16% of the total games that he's been eligible for. And he hasn't had any major injuries or anything. He even only played 3 total minutes the entire 2021 season.
Chad, we might have to watch some Udonis Haslam highlights, bro. I don't even, I never remember Udonis Haslam getting buckets. Like, what type of player was he? Like, what type of player? Was he like a, you know what I'm saying? Like, was he like a 3-and-D type of player? Was he like a defensive-minded type of player? Was he like a, you know what I'm saying? Was he like a slasher type of nigga? Like, what type of player was this nigga? I don't remember. I have never seen Udonis Haslam play more than 10 minutes in one game. I haven't. I don't think that exists.
It's time they switch things up with Haslam's job title. And if you want to switch to a new video, make sure to click this one on the screen now because
Hey, W video, these are some bad records, bro. These are some bad records. I know all these players is hoping somebody else is going to take their record away from them. These is all bad. These is all bad records.